Hi, I'm Paul Dempsey and I'm joined now by Michael Fleishman, who's Head of North American Engineering for Infotech. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Paul.
You're part of the Common Platform ecosystem. Perhaps you could explain why Infotech joined that and what you contribute to it.
Sure. So Infotech, we are a global engineering services provider based out of India. So we provide engineering design services in the form of semiconductor, electrical engineers, verification, layout, physical design to support all the various companies that are part of this ecosystem.
So one of the interesting things about you being an engineering services company is that you're right at the front of the supply chain. You start to see where the orders are returning and what types of order are returning, and you also get a very, very good view of what's happening if we're seeing improvements in the global economy.
So I actually have even better visibility into that because Infotech, we service multiple industries, from aerospace to rail to semiconductor to even consumer. And I can tell you hands down, the economy is absolutely turning around. We are seeing demand across the board. The issue with my customers is not around capacity, around demand. It's in having enough engineers to actually do the work to meet that capacity.
So from what you're saying, it sounds like we're talking about an industry that's not just potentially going to be capacity constrained or have a capacity crunch, but also one that's going to be engineering constrained. It's not going to have the people, it's going to have an engineering crunch.
I would say in North America we are absolutely constrained engineers. Even if you look at the demographics in the United States, we have some of the best universities in the world, yet we're cranking out fewer engineers year upon year than some of the emerging market countries are, like China or India or even Russia.
Now, obviously, one of the interesting things about your company having its headquarters in India is that you're right at the heart of what's seen as now the fast-growing region of the world. And I'm sure that you also get a perspective being based there on which particular markets are beginning to return as we come out of the recession.
Well, I mean, definitely consumer electronics has a huge demand now. I mean, I think Steve Jobs started that with the iPhone. You know, everybody is striving to have that one device, that you know, to quote Tolkien, you know, one device to rule them all. You know, I was just at Consumer Electronics Show just recently in Las Vegas.
Right.
And I don't know if you were there as well, right?
I was indeed, yes.
So there was a huge influx of tablets, or as you and I had mentioned earlier before the interview started, you know, iPad wannabes or even iPad killers, you know, which is what I think both BlackBerry and Motorola are hoping to accomplish here. But at the end of the day, it's one mobile device that can accomplish all of your needs, whether it's your personal needs from your video to, you know, video chats with your kids to watching your movies or listening to your music, or your business needs. So we're starting to see this confluence of business and consumer, which is something that even Steve Jobs has been quoted as saying that even he didn't expect. You know, so we're starting to see, I think it's, the baby boomers are starting to retire, and we're starting to see an influx of people who are not only think differently, but are wired differently. You know, as far as growing up with the technology versus you and I that are adopting the technology and we think we're very savvy versus our kids who are actually eat, breathing, and sleeping our technology, even to the point where they're not even communicating in the back of the car verbally, they're texting each other back and forth, right? So that kind of paradigm shift is what is starting to give rise to the consumer electronics industry picking up. We're also seeing a huge increase, I'm very pleased to say, in commercial aircraft. We're seeing lots of orders for new airliners, lots of demand, like the Boeing Dreamliner, for example, you know, for new technology aircraft that can fly longer, that will use up less fuel, that can carry more passengers, that can go much faster, as well as increase in defense spending across the board from Russia to China to India to the United States. And obviously, a lot of countries looking to invest in the emerging markets because they want to sell their product in the emerging markets.
So it sounds like there's plenty of work out there. Thanks very much for joining us, Michael.
No, my pleasure.